believe that one of Hollywood's most enduring sci-fi iconic films began as a simple joke about Rocky Balboa fighting an alien? In the mid-1980s, screenwriters Jim and John Thomas wrote a script that started as Hunter, a tale about a special forces team stalked in the jungle by an extraterrestrial. When Arnold Schwarzenegger signed on and director John McTiernan, this turned into more than just a simple idea. It grew into a suspense driven sci fi original classic. It redefined the idea of macho ness and aliens in the 1980s. Released in 1987, Predator was an unexpected masterpiece. It mixed gritty military action with survival horror and cutting edge creature design. The Predator, a dreadlocked infrared vision alien hunter designed by Stan Winston, instantly became a pop culture legend. The movie's blend of tension, testosterone, and unforgettable one-liners made it a hit. It would gross nearly $100 million on a modest budget. Critics were divided at first, but soon it transformed into a classic. It was known as the Men vs. Monster film of the decade. This meant, of course, they had to have a second. After the great success of the first Predator movie, of course, one thing was on 20th Century Fox's mind, and that was money. Time for a sequel, which would be Predator 2, The Urban Hunt. This would premiere in 1990 and would shift the setting from the jungle to the sweltering streets of the near-future Los Angeles. Danny Glover would replace Schwarzenegger, and this time the aliens hunted gang members and cops amid urban chaos. The concept was bold, a predator loose in the concrete jungle, but the execution divided fans. The tone grew darker and more violent, and while the film expanded the universe further and brought in more and more concepts, including an alien skull cameo that foreshadowed the future, it earned less than its predecessor. Like most sequels, it struggled. Still, Predator 2 built upon the foundation and showcased the fact that they could have a larger universe built around these characters, that there were many more hunts to go in the galaxy. After the second movie, you could say it was essentially the quiet years for Predator. There was not much going on. In 1989, there would be a comic created by Dark Horse Comics called Alien vs. Predator, and it would be the concrete foundation for the film in 2004. And that was truly what would be worked on. From that point on, going into the early 2000s, that's what film would become first to mind for those around the Predator franchise, Alien vs. Predator. It would be directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and it turned a concept that was more unique, something that hadn't been seen before, where aliens and predators battled for supremacy. Critics groaned, but audience turned out in full force. And I remember seeing this movie and thought it was fantastic. It would gross over $170 million worldwide, though it wasn't the art that Predator proved to be back in the 1980s. It was still a great piece to a growing franchise and a growing concept. In 2007, there would even be a sequel, Aliens vs. Predator, Requiem, and it doubled down on the darkness. Literally, much of the film was so dimly lit that fans joked that you needed to have night vision to see it. It would be a bomb in the box office, and many would say it would not be worth seeing, and it ruined the Predator and Alien franchises. Many even discussed that it would be the end of those franchises unless they did a full reboot down the line. In 2010, they tried to essentially reboot the franchise once again with the film Predators. A different take this time was soldiers and mercenaries ending up on an alien planet that was a game reserve, and these predators would hunt down these soldiers one by one, creating a more unique aspect that we hadn't really seen before in the Predator movies, and it really went back to basics. Predators hunting others for prey. And after seeing the box office of $127 million worldwide, the message was clear. Audiences still love the concept of Predator. They just needed it to be executed correctly. And in 2018, The Predator would premiere when Shane Black, who had acted in the first Predator movie, was announced as the writer and director of the Predator film in 2018, fans were cautiously optimistic. Black's sharp wit and experience with action movies, including Lethal Weapon and Iron Man 3, seemed like the perfect match. Instead, the film became a cautionary tale of franchise excess. They were finally on the right track, and this film kind of took everything off track. The Predator introduced supersized ultimate predators, military conspiracies, and slapstick humor. And this was not the hit that everyone thought it would be. Fans were left divided, critics were unimpressed. Though it would make $160 million globally, the biggest in franchise history, it was widely seen as a creative low point. The Predator, once terrifying, had become a noisy CGI spectacle. By 2019, many thought the franchise would be over. They thought it would be dead. But that brings us to today's time. In 2022, Prey would bring everything back to the beginning. It would be released on Hulu, and Dan Trachtenberg's prequel turned everything around. It was set centuries before the original film, creating a unique concept. It brought back the idea of the Predator franchise. It brought back the concept of survival versus extinction. It brought that horror, sci-fi genre that was breathtaking, and it was spectacular, getting a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Prey restored faith in the brand, and that brings us to Badlands, the newest film in the franchise, and many are expecting this to be a hit. People wanted Predator. People wanted to see more of this iconic character, and finally, it's coming back. People are fully expecting this film to be a hit, and surely enough, it will have merchandising, video games, and everything else you can imagine. Even there are some whispers of people wanting theme park attractions based off the character of Predator. May we see this in the future? What does the future look like for this movie franchise? Will this be another great point, or will this fall off the cliff for the Predator movie franchise? Thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you think of this franchise. Believable Truths.